Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the new Charlotte Tilbury jewel collection. That includes this jewel pot, which is the eye product. We also have both of the jewel lip products to talk about today. I bought both shades so I could compare them and let you guys know what I think of everything and whether or not I think this is actually worth the buy or not. Let's get right on into the first product here. Now, if you guys checked out my video, which was just recently posted, and that was the new makeup I'm super excited about video, this is a product release I was so excited about. I do really gravitate towards a lot of Charlotte Tilbury's releases, but there's definitely a few that I haven't been gravitating towards as of late. Usually her skincare is kind of a culprit. Because she has fragrance in her skincare, I no longer use it, but when she releases makeup products, it definitely gets me excited. So this first one is the Charlotte's Jewel Pots, and there's only one shade of this one so far. I think she potentially could be expanding it, but the shade that is released as of now is Walk of No Shame. Now, I talked about this release on my latest video and kept calling this shade Walk of Shame. I feel like she must have changed it or I just messed it up in my head, but apologies for that. It is Walk of No Shame, and this is described as like a ruby copper kind of berry tone, and this is a brand new formula to Charlotte. I will get a ton of questions about this, so I know I'm going to compare them right away in this video, but I do have one of her liquid shadows here also, and I will be comparing them and letting you guys know what makes them different because there really is a ton of differences between them. All right, so talking about these little jewel pots that she's just released, they do retail for 35 American dollars or for 40 Canadian dollars. This is interesting because this is actually 0.1 ounces of product, whereas the Eyes to Mesmerize cream shadows that she's released previous actually have a lot more product and they are cheaper, very interestingly. This is 32 American dollars, this is 35. The rose gold cream shadow is 0.24 ounces, which is 2.5 times more product in this one. I just found it interesting that for 2.5 times more product, it is cheaper than her new jewel pots. Interesting, Charlotte, very interesting. Another thing to note is that both of these cream products have what we call a shelf life kind of guarantee on them. And that's what every makeup product does have. If you look really closely, you will see kind of like what looks like a little tub and then usually a number with the letter M beside it, which is like 6 months or 12 months or whatever that is. So this Eyes to Mesmerize is 6 months of a lifespan, whereas the jewel pots are 12 months of a lifespan. So there's something in the Eyes to Mesmerize product that is making it expire a lot quicker than this new product. Now, reading off of the website here, I'm going to pull up what she says about the jewel pots here and what they're supposed to do. So it does say that this is a new copper red cream eyeshadow, and you know Charlotte's descriptions, they're always very interesting. Darling, bejewel your eyes in diamonds, rubies, and gold. This is my secret to shimmering, shine bright jewel eyes, dazzling with Walk of No Shame joy and confidence. This reminds me, like her product descriptions remind me of when people describe perfumes and they go like, take a walk down memory lane, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny. Anyways, this is supposed to have diamond powder in it, pearl pigments, hyaluronic acid, vitamin E. There's 3 types of oils in here too to keep it nice and smooth. We have argan, macadamia, and rosehip. So this is an incredibly creamy product. When you do place it on the eye, you will see here that I've actually prepped one eye with an eye primer and then one was a bare lid. And I wanted to see how, if any difference kind of occurred when I prepped one eye versus not prepping the other one. Of course, it has more pigment than I thought it would. So on the eye, you can see today I've only used this jewel pot on my eyes. So it is still fairly pigmented considering. It feels very like silky when you actually swatch it. It's so smooth when you actually swirl your hand in the pan. Very lightweight and thin, but just like glides on beautifully. And that is actually a tip that I learned from the Eyes to Mesmerize product product, which is her other cream product. I did find that if I primed my lid, it would carry the pigment a heck of a lot longer than on an unprimed lid. And sure enough, the same thing happened with this one. So even though you can definitely put this on an unprimed lid, you do have to make sure that you're putting a ton of layers on because it will fade faster and break apart on your lid if you don't have primer. And for me, that's also more likely because I do have some creasing and slight hooded eyes, to be honest. So I have more potential of things breaking apart throughout the day compared to non-hooded eyes and maybe less creasing on the lid. The packaging of this, I will say, is not my favorite compared to the Eyes to Mesmerize. I find the Eyes to Mesmerize product is just heavier in the hand and it has that frosted glass base. This is where she's changed a little bit when it comes to packaging style. This is a plastic kind of lid here and a plastic clear base. It's very lightweight in the hand. Obviously there's less product in here too, but the packaging of this is a lot more luxury feeling in my opinion, versus this one is definitely lighter weight, lighter plastic, and just doesn't have the same kind of weightiness in the hand. Now when it comes to whether I prefer this Eyes to Mesmerize cream shadow from her permanent line, the shade that I have is rose gold by the way, or do I like the Jewel Pot better? Now this is just going to depend on your personal preferences. I find that the Eyes to Mesmerize product is a thicker, moussier product, so I do find that you have to blend it a little bit more because you're getting more pigment and more product on your finger or on your brush. If you're applying it with a brush, you do have to blend it and smooth it into the lid a little bit better because it's just thicker, so kind of patting it in and smoothing it in. The Jewel Pot is thinner, but you do still have to blend it, so both of them require that same kind of idea, but this is more of like a metallic kind of look to the lid though, so it's definitely a different effect, whereas the Jewel Pot is more of like a shimmery, sparkly gleam to the lid. I do like them both, but for different reasons. So when I want more of a metallic look, I'm gonna go for something like this Eyes to Mesmerize. I still prime my lid, like I said, and the Jewel Pots are just going to be more for that beautiful gleam, sparkle to the lid. Now let's go over the Jewel Lips product. There are two of them in this new launch here. The first one is Pillow Talk, which, I mean, are we surprised at all? Pillow Talk is a bestseller for her, so of course she's going to expand it further, and this is a gorgeous like nudie pink color. Then we have the same shade that the Jewel Pot is in, which is the Walk of No Shame. This is also that copper ruby red gloss. Now because these glosses are actually fairly sheer upon swatch, you will see that this is one that you need to build up a little bit on the lips, but also this is one that I think doesn't have a ton of difference between them because of how sheer they are. They are still slightly tacky on the lips, and one thing that I will say to you guys is that this is more of the shorter end of lifespan for glosses for me. I don't think this one lasts as long as some of my other favorites. If you put them over top of a lipstick, they will carry longer, of course. These I feel like you do have to reapply fairly often, and that is of course going to make you run through the product a little bit faster also, so just keep that in mind. I actually think that both of these products are gorgeous colors. I would argue might not even need both because of really how similar they are. It just kind of depends on your preference. If you want more of a nude kind of undertone, but literally slight, then you can get the Pillow Talk one. If you want more of a berry, then you can get the Walk of No Shame. But honestly, they're very, very similar in shade. I no longer own any of Charlotte's Lip Luster lip glosses, but those are actually glosses I really didn't like because of how sticky they were and because of how thick I felt the product was. I felt like I really had to drag it across my lips to get the pigment punch. This to me is a lot smoother of an application. It's a lot more moisturizing. I do feel like it glides over the lips a lot better, and it has more of a smooth formula versus the heavier formula of the Luster lip glosses. Now this smells, I'm gonna see if this has a smell for you guys. Yes, it smells like slight vanilla, more so sweet. So I know that you guys have expressed to me in the past that like there's lots of glosses that have a mint smell and that's not always your favorite. This is definitely more vanilla sweet cookie kind of smell to them. Not super potent, but definitely there. I find that they dissipate as I wear them though, because I don't notice when I apply them to the lips, I don't notice anything else throughout the day, like a scent off of my lips or anything. I did forget to mention the price of these. These are 32 American dollars each or 36 Canadian. So they are a luxury price point, as is Charlotte Tilbury, but I do think that these are actually really nice additions to her line. A much, much better improved lip gloss formula compared to the others that she's offered. I'm really, really happy with these. The two claims that Charlotte makes on her website regarding these lip glosses, though, is hydration as well as plumping effect. I do feel like the hydration is definitely there, but what I will say about plumping, I don't notice it a ton, and that's just me being honest. I kind of didn't want to come off like super negative by saying that. I wonder if the plumping has to do with the fact that if you put like a shiny gloss over your lips, it kind of attracts light to the area. It makes them look a little bigger anyway, but I don't notice like a tingling sensation or like my lips are plumping up because it's working something on the lip there. It's nothing like that. I think it just has a nice hydrating finish to the lips. Lastly, I will say that these glosses do not have the chunky glitter bits that I've come to hate in a gloss. That was my biggest thing. If you did watch my video about me talking about this launch and saying how excited I was worried that these glosses were going to be very, very glittery. And if that's the case, preference style for me, they just turn me right off. Where you can actually see sparkle bits on your lips, it's just not a look that I'm after at this point in my life. But looking at my lips now, like I see shine, I see some slight shimmer, but I don't see glittery chunks, and that is perfect for me. What are your thoughts on these brand new releases from Charlotte Tilbury? Are these on your radar at all, or are you gonna skip on these? I am a big fan of these, so I am really glad that I purchased them and I was able to test them for you. I hope this quick review was helpful, and until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
But somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.